You think the habits aging you would feel dangerous, like smoking, like heavy drinking, like obvious, dramatic choices. But here is the truth. The habits secretly aging your body feel completely normal. They feel like regular life. They feel like what everyone does. Sitting at your desk, checking your phone before bed, eating lunch at random times, skipping the morning walk. None of these feel harmful in the moment, but your body is keeping score. Every habit is a signal, and your body adapts to whatever signals you repeat most often. These are 10 everyday habits that are secretly aging your body, not because any single instance is dangerous, but because repetition turns small disruptions into chronic damage. Habit 1. Sitting for hours without moving. You probably do this every day. Work, commute, meals, screens. Hours pass without your body doing much of anything. Here is what your body actually learns from this. When you sit for long stretches, blood flow slows down. Your blood vessels have a lining called the endothelium, basically a thin layer that keeps everything running smoothly. When blood sits stagnant, that lining stops, getting the signals it needs to stay healthy. Within 30 minutes of sitting, your endothelial function starts declining. Do this for years, and your blood vessels become stiffer, less responsive, more prone to damage. But there is another problem. Your muscles stop contracting, which means they stop pulling sugar out of your blood. Insulin sensitivity drops, blood sugar stays elevated longer, metabolism slows. This does not happen because you did something wrong once. It happens because you repeated the same signal thousands of times. Your body learned that sitting is normal, so it adapted to sitting. The fix is almost embarrassingly simple. Stand up every 30 minutes, walk for 2 minutes. The signal resets, blood flows, muscles contract, endothelium stays healthy. Habit 2. Drinking caffeine too late in the day. This seems harmless. You need energy in the afternoon. Coffee helps. But here is the problem most people miss. Caffeine has a half-life of about 5 to 6 hours. That means half the caffeine from your 3 p.m. coffee is still in your system at 9 p.m. Even if you fall asleep fine, caffeine blocks adenosine, the chemical that creates sleep pressure and drives deep sleep. You might sleep, but you will not recover as well. Deep sleep is when your brain clears waste, your body releases growth hormone, and your tissues repair. Less deep sleep means less recovery, and this is where it gets worse. When you do not recover fully, cortisol stays elevated the next morning. You feel tired, so you drink more caffeine, which disrupts the next night's sleep. Your body learns to run on stimulation instead of restoration. Over time, this creates chronic under-recovery, a state where stress accumulates faster than the body can clear it. The fix: cut off caffeine by early afternoon at the latest. Give your body the signal that evening is for winding down, not revving up. Habit 3. Eating at irregular times. Your body does not just care what you eat, it cares when you eat. You have an internal clock, a circadian rhythm, that controls digestion, hormone release, and metabolism. Your body expects food at predictable times and prepares accordingly. When you eat erratically, breakfast one day, no breakfast the next, dinner at 6 p.m. sometimes, and 10 p.m. other times, your body never knows what is coming. Digestive enzymes release at the wrong times. Insulin response becomes less efficient. Metabolism gets confused. Studies show that irregular eating patterns are linked to higher body weight, worse blood sugar control, and increased inflammation, independent of how much food you eat. Here is the deeper insight. Health is often a rhythm problem. Your body runs on synchronized cycles. When eating happens at random times, those cycles fall out of sync. Digestion, hormone release, and energy production stop coordinating properly. The fix: eat at roughly the same times each day. Your body will learn when to expect food and prepare more efficiently. Habit 4. Looking at screens right before bed. You have probably heard this one, but here is why it actually matters. Your brain produces melatonin, the hormone that signals sleep, based on light exposure. When light dims in the evening, melatonin rises. When bright light hits your eyes, melatonin stops. Screens emit blue light, which is particularly effective at suppressing melatonin. Even 30 minutes of screen time before bed can delay melatonin release and reduce sleep quality. But here is what most people miss. The problem is not just the blue light, it is also the stimulation. Social media, news, videos, these keep your brain in alert mode. Your nervous system stays activated when it should be winding down. Your body learns that bedtime is not for calming down, it is for scrolling, processing, and reacting. Over time, this makes it harder to transition into restful sleep. You lie in bed with a racing mind because your body never received the signal that the day was ending. The fix: dim lights and stop screens at least 30 to 60 minutes before bed. Give your body the signal that night is for rest, not stimulation. Habit 5: breathing through your mouth. This sounds strange, but it matters more than most people realize. Your nose is designed for breathing. It filters air, warms it, humidifies it, and produces nitric oxide, a molecule that helps open blood vessels and improve oxygen delivery. When you breathe through your mouth, you skip all of this. Air enters unfiltered and dry. Nitric oxide production drops. Oxygen exchange becomes less efficient. Chronic mouth breathing, especially during sleep, is associated with poor sleep quality, increased snoring, higher blood pressure, and even changes in facial structure over time. Here is the deeper connection. Mouth breathing often triggers shallow, chest-based breathing. This activates the sympathetic nervous system, your fight-or-flight mode, more frequently than necessary. Your body learns to stay slightly on alert, even when nothing is wrong. The fix: practice nasal breathing during the day. Pay attention to whether your mouth hangs open while resting. If you mouth breathe at night, mouth tape can help retrain the habit. And this is the part most people never realize. Many of these habits share the same underlying problem. They disrupt your body's ability to recover. Sitting too long damages blood vessels. Late caffeine ruins deep sleep. Irregular eating confuses metabolism. Screen time before bed blocks melatonin. Mouth breathing activates stress mode. Different habits, but they all interfere with the same thing: your body's ability to repair, reset, and restore. Stress is not the enemy. Lack of recovery is. Your body can handle stress. It was designed for stress, but it was also designed to recover fully between stressors. Modern life creates a situation where stress never stops and recovery never fully happens. This is the silent pathway that turns normal habits into chronic disease. Habit 6: spending the morning indoors. You wake up, you check your phone, you eat breakfast inside. You commute in a car or train. You arrive at an indoor workplace. By the time you see actual sunlight, hours have passed. Here is why this matters. Morning light exposure is one of the strongest signals for setting your circadian rhythm. When bright light hits your eyes early in the day, it tells your brain to stop producing melatonin and start the wake-up cascade. This cascade affects cortisol timing, alertness, mood, and, critically, how well you sleep that night. When you miss morning light, your internal clock never gets properly set. You feel groggy in the morning and wired at night. Sleep becomes harder to initiate. The fix: get outside within the first hour of waking, even if just for 10 minutes. Actual sunlight is far more powerful than indoor lighting. Your body needs this signal to know that day has started. Habit 7: eating processed food most of the time. You know, processed food is not ideal, but here is what it actually does at the biological level. Processed foods are often engineered to be hyperpalatable, combinations of sugar, salt, and fat that trigger strong dopamine responses. They make you want to eat more, even when you are not hungry. But there is a deeper problem. Processed foods often lack fiber, which feeds your gut bacteria. When your microbiome does not get fiber, it starts breaking down the mucus lining of your gut instead. This weakens the gut barrier. Particles that should stay inside your gut start leaking into your bloodstream. Your immune system reacts. Chronic inflammation begins. This gut-brain connection also affects mood. An unhealthy gut microbiome is linked to higher rates of anxiety, depression, and cognitive decline. Your body learns that food is inflammatory, not nourishing. The fix: prioritize whole foods most of the time. Vegetables, fruits, proteins, healthy fats. Your gut bacteria need fiber to keep the system running properly. Habit 8. Never being bored. Every spare moment, waiting in line, sitting on the toilet, riding an elevator, you reach for your phone. You are never without stimulation. Here is the problem. Your brain needs downtime. It needs moments of low stimulation to consolidate memories, process emotions, and engage in what scientists call the default mode network, a state of restful internal reflection. When you fill every gap with input, your brain never gets this break. Attention becomes fragmented. The ability to focus on one thing for extended periods weakens. Creativity drops because your brain never wanders. And there is a dopamine component. Constant stimulation raises your baseline for what feels interesting. Normal life starts feeling boring. You need more novelty just to feel okay. Your body learns to need constant input. Stillness becomes uncomfortable. The fix: let yourself be bored. Leave gaps in your day without filling them. Your brain needs empty space to function optimally. Habit 9. Staying socially isolated. You might think loneliness is just an emotional problem. It is not. Loneliness is biological. When your body perceives social isolation, it interprets this as danger. Historically, being alone meant being unprotected, vulnerable to threats. The body responds by increasing inflammation. Cortisol stays elevated. Immune function shifts toward fighting infection and away from long-term health maintenance. Studies show that chronic loneliness is as harmful to health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It accelerates cellular aging and increases mortality risk. Here is the connection back to the nervous system. Social connection signals safety. When you feel connected to others, your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode, activates more easily. When you are isolated, your body stays slightly in fight or flight, constantly. The fix: prioritize real connection, not likes and comments, actual face-to-face interaction where you feel seen and heard. Habit 10. Never giving yourself a real break. Weekends filled with errands, vacations spent catching up on work, evenings scrolling instead of resting. You are always doing something. You are never fully recovering. Here is what this does. Your body has two main modes: sympathetic, fight or flight, and parasympathetic, rest and digest. You need both, but modern life keeps the sympathetic system activated far too often. When you never fully rest, cortisol never fully drops, inflammation stays elevated, repair processes get shortchanged. Your heart rate variability, a measure of nervous system flexibility, decreases. This is a sign that your body is losing its ability to bounce back from stress. Over time, this leads to burnout, chronic fatigue, and accelerated aging. The problem is not that you experience stress. The problem is that you never fully recover from it. The fix: schedule real rest, not distraction, not passive consumption, actual downtime where your body can fully shift into restoration mode. Here is what connects all of this. These habits do not feel dangerous because no single instance is dangerous. Sitting for 1 hour does not destroy your blood vessels. One late coffee does not ruin your sleep forever. One evening on your phone does not break your circadian rhythm. But repetition changes everything. Your body adapts to whatever signals you repeat most often. It learns from routine. It builds pathways around consistency. When you repeat the same small disruptions day after day, year after year, they become your biology. Disease often begins as 1,000 tiny biological votes. And by the time symptoms appear, the pattern has been running for years. Your body is not broken. Your body learned from the environment you gave it. The habits that feel normal, sitting, scrolling, snacking, isolating, became signals your body adapted to. But the same adaptability that created these patterns can change them. New signals create new adaptations. Move every 30 minutes, cut caffeine early, eat at consistent times, get morning light, breathe through your nose, limit screens before bed, eat real food, let yourself be bored, connect with people, actually rest. None of these are dramatic. All of them are signals. And signals, repeated consistently, become your biology. Your body is always learning. The question is, what are you teaching it? If you understand this, everything changes.